Good morning, everyone. I thought I'd start my series on how we get to nonprofit healthcare by first explaining how insurance actually works. And today I'm going to demonstrate the differences between real insurance and health insurance. Health insurance has an insurance component, but it is not it is not insurance in the truest sense of the word. If you look at this board behind me, and you'll see this top graph up here. This is a calendar year graph, and this is what all health insurance claims look like during the calendar year. So as you see here, January 1, let's say an employer starts a contract with an insurance company. Starts on January 1, that insurance company is responsible for paying the claims for the entire 12 months. So as you see, there's not a lot of claims that occur in the first couple of months. They don't see that much, even though they're collecting all of the premium that they're charging. Then at about the third month, it really starts to ramp up until you reach some kind of plateau. Now it'll still waver, but it'll reach the mean will be a plateau somewhere at a higher amount. Now this doesn't take into account any shock claims. Shock claims are things like premature babies or car accidents or somebody who's had some very extensive cancer treatments. Whenever you have that, you're going to see the claims actually spike and then they'll average out again. But there is protection for those spikes, and I'll get to that in a minute. At the end of the year, let's say that this employer didn't like the carrier, so they decided to leave. So as of 12/31, that contract is expired. Now, there are claims that have been incurred in November and December that have yet not been submitted to the insurance company. So they have to pay those after the employer has terminated the contract. So essentially, once the premiums stop, the insurance company knows that there's going to be claims coming in for the next 3 to 6 months that they are still going to have to pay. And so what you'll see is that the insurance company takes over, is still continue to pay, and they'll pay and pay and pay until finally, about 6 months out, all the claims have been submitted and there's no more liability. Well, the insurance company has to set up a fund for that time period because they know the claims are going to be there, but they're not going to be receiving any more premiums. So they do establish that fund. Now, compare that to real insurance. In property insurance or casualty insurance, you're looking at an underwriter who assesses a risk and they charge a premium, whatever that premium happens to be during the year. Now, somewhere along the line, there possibly might be a claim. And if there is a claim, chances are the underwriter did something wrong because they were not able to accurately predict that claim. Then the insurance company will pay the claim, and then there'll be nothing for the rest of the year. At the end of the year, the insurance company takes an evaluation of what happened, and then they reassess the premium that they're going to charge if they're going to continue to charge keep that company as a client. This is insurance. This is financing. Completely different. Completely different the way you handle it, completely different the way you predict it, and how you finance it. In health insurance or health insurance financing, there isn't still an insurance component. However, this graph is very, very predictable based on the health conditions in the group. So the claims are just one component of any health contract. And if you look at this pie chart that I have drawn out here, you can see the claims are about 65%. And it varies. It could be 50 to 65% of every dollar that comes in. They know that 65% of that dollar is going to be set aside or spent on claims. Then they also have to get paid in order to do it. They get paid. They set aside 20%. Now the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, actually mandated for groups under 50, the insurance companies have to have a 20% administrative charge. For groups over 50, it has to be 50. So they set aside that 20% of every dollar to pay all of the administrative expenses. This is going to include things like insurance. Remember that shock claim? That's right. The insurance companies actually buy insurance in case there's a claim that they didn't expect so that they can pay that claim. It's going to include payroll. All those people are making lots of money. And believe me, if you look at the CEO's pay, you will be shocked. Overhead, turn on the lights, building expenses, things like that, and then of course sales. So the last component is what we call reserves. And reserves is the money they set aside to pay these claims after the client has left the insurance company. So they set aside this money because they know that these claims are going to come. And those three components are part of every premium dollar that you spend. It doesn't matter what kind of plan you have, these components are part of it. Now, I'm going to leave you with this, and this is where I'll pick up the next video. Most people think that the insurance companies make their money here. It's not. They can't. There's not enough room in this 20%, believe it or not, for them to make money. They have figured out that most of the money is being spent here. So this is where they spend their time, trying to figure out how they capture these dollars. I'm going to get to that in our next video. I'm glad you could join me today. Please come back and check out the next one because I think you're going to find some of the facts and figures